missed their 7th edition due to the pandemic, Afrima Awards is back with Kenyans vying for numerous awards among Africa's most creative talents. Some of the nominees from Kenya in the Best Female East Africa are Karun, Zeni Manasseh, and Nikita Kering.
Throw this all behind, I find myself inside your arms again.
Our very own Victoria Kimani, who has just released her album dubbed Spirit Animal. Someone else that has been trending is Omanyala Ferdinand, and he just set a record as the fastest runner in Africa. And the fact that he is from Kenya, I feel so proud about it. I feel like, namjua.
Be yourself, support Grapevine, and know that our music, African music, Nyatiti music is the best music ever.
Boys go madam, all the West Side boys say madam, really need somebody make it go down. Real nigga make it go down. When you pull up and you already know.
Tokea wapi? Na mila zenu nzipi?
Kulisha didani. Keti ndo huyo hata yuko.
Tipili, namwona dadako.
Dadangu? Kawaida huwa sijiregelei maneno yangu, lakini with you nahisi kama ambaye nahitaji kukumbusha, just in case.
I'm not hiding, I'm listening to some of my music.
Okay, peke yako na mamako yuko hapa?
From Nairobi, Kenya, it's 9 p.m. East African time, Monday the 27th, September 2021. Good evening and welcome. My name is Mboya.
My name is Museo. Tonight we have a packed bulletin for you that includes business news that will be brought to you later on by Cynthia Nyamai.
Karen Kibet will be driving the sports agenda. But first things first, tonight's top stories. Coming to the rescue of Kenyans, High Court stops adjustment of excise duty on petroleum products.
98% of the people who are currently hospitalized ni watu ambao hawajachanjwa. 98%. Kwa hivyo ni kusema ya kwamba hii chanjo inafanya kazi.
Thanks to the vaccine, Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe says COVID-19 bed occupancy reducing tremendously.
There are several other parties in this region who have expressed desire and interest to work with us.
The prized mountain, ODM leader Raila Odinga ends his 3 days tour of the Mount Kenya region.
A very warm welcome to this live broadcast. Anne Wangeshi is our sign language interpreter tonight. Feel free to interact with us and weigh in onto this content tonight at KBC Channel 1 News. The hashtag to use is Prime Edition. At Purity_Museo and at Tom Mboya 24.
We're delighted to have you. Straight to our top story and some relief. The High Court has issued temporary orders stopping the Kenya Revenue Authority from adjusting excise duty for petroleum products upwards. That was to take effect from the 1st of October 2021. Justice James Makau is issuing the orders, citing lack of public participation and the negative effect the adjusted prices will have on Kenyans. Ben Troy-Njue opens our coverage tonight with that report.
The Kenya Revenue Authority has been stopped from increasing the excise duty on petroleum products, which would have seen the prices of fuel rise steadily. High Court Judge James Makau said the rise would pile more pressure on Kenyans who are already grappling with high cost of living. He added that public participation was not conducted before the decision was arrived at. In the case, a youth group from Korogocho under the name Ufanisi Center had moved to court to oppose the adjustment.
Orders were granted restraining or rather quashing that decision on an interim basis. We were also given a further mention date on the 12th of October, during which parties, or rather all the respondents, shall file in their documents and the written submissions, and we shall be given directions in terms of how to proceed with the substantive petition.
In a notice on 10th August this year, KRA Commissioner General had announced rates on excise duty of 4.97% to be adjusted using the average inflation rate for the 2020-2021 financial year. Elsewhere, the family of the late billionaire businessman Tob Cohen have accused the Director of Public Prosecution, Nudin Haji, of conducting selective prosecution over his murder and have instructed their lawyer to file a petition seeking the DPP's removal from office.
As family, we will be contemplating whether with this we can move a petition for removal of the DPP from office if this is how he is conducting prosecution in this country. I'll be taking instructions at 2 from my clients with this, with a view of filing a petition for removal of the DPP.
They say an affidavit filed by the Director of Criminal Investigations indicate that the DPP has dragged his feet, rejected or refused to prosecute other prominent suspects implicated in the murder of the businessman. Through their lawyer, Danstan Omari, the family says the DPP has not approved the prosecution of prominent persons linked to the murder, despite the Director of Criminal Investigations recommending their prosecution.
Among the people, one of the prominent person who was supposed to take plea for murder, the DPP wrote a letter saying that there is no sufficient evidence.
In the DCI affidavit, it has emerged that Cohen's 999 shares of his empire, Tobbs Limited, had been stolen from his company, and the matter was reported to the police, but no action was taken. Cohen was killed 6 days later and his body found in a septic tank in his compound. They want the DPP order to appear in court for cross-examination based on the affidavit filed. His estranged wife Sarah Wairimo Cohen and businessman Peter Karanja have jointly been charged with the murder and are currently out on bond. For Prime Edition, I'm Ben Troy-Njue.
And Orange Democratic Movement Party leader Raila Odinga has opened doors to political parties in Mount Kenya region to join his camp. Raila, who Monday ended his 3-day tour of the Mount Kenya region, said he was ready to work with all leaders who share his vision of a prosperous Kenya. On Monday, the ODM leaders held several rallies traversing Nyeri, Murang'a and Kiambu counties. Kamche Menza reports.
ODM leader Raila Odinga's 3-day tour of the Mount Kenya region culminated with a meeting with the region's leadership led by Governors Muriithi Nderitu, James Nyoro, Lee Kinyanjui and Francis Kimemia. The meeting ostensibly putting on the table strategies that will see the region's leadership rally support for Raila Odinga in his race to State House come 2022.
We shall plan and coordinate structured engagement with the region, focusing on elected leaders, community leaders, business leaders, farmers organizations, the faith organizations, and key opinion leaders and shapers in the region. This weekend, if you will, is the first engagement in a series of consultative meetings planned across the entire region that will definitely culminate in a declaration.
Raila, who says the tour is part of the countrywide consultative meeting to identify various problems affecting the people, however, indicated that his party is ready to team up with like-minded parties from the region.
Yes, as you can see, you know, we are here with PNU. And our party has had discussions with PNU. We have been discussing with Jubilee. There are several other parties in this region who have expressed desire and interest to work with us. And we will be looking at it on a case-by-case basis.
Other key issues raised in the discussion include expansion of local economic opportunities, strategies on youth empowerment, stimulus packages for SMEs, as well as the thorny question of security in Laikipia.
No development can take place in a state of insecurity. And it is the responsibility of the government to protect the lives and property of Kenyans wherever they live. And therefore, we had already issued a statement as a political party on that matter.
Come together and feel
Raila wound up his tour wooing voters as he made stopovers in Naramoru, Chaka in Nyeri and Karatina, Kenol in Muranga and Githurai in Kiambu. Kamchemenza for Prime Edition.
Let's keep our eye on politics. A section of members of parliament from Nyanza region are urging the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto to tour all parts of Kenya in search of votes for his 2022 presidential bid. Elsewhere, Ugunja Member of Parliament Opiyo Wandayi is seeking to amend the Elections Act to bar politicians with integrity issues from being cleared to contest elective positions. Timothy Kipnusu is on that political beat.
Speaking during a funds drive in Migori, the legislators allied to the ODM party leader Raila Odinga said Kenya has come of age in embracing maturity and democracy in politics, ensuring there are no political territorial boundaries.
We will not stop anyone from making forays in this region. They can come and bring us chips. They can come. When they come, we will go and see them.
We encourage any other aspirant, be it presidential, senatorial, gubernatorial, or member of parliament. They are free to move anywhere within Migori County, even in Rongo. But ultimately, it is the people who are going to decide.
This even as they say they were firmly behind the opposition leader Raila Odinga.
Migori people, you have no option but to remain in the party that is the ODM. Because this is our region and this is the region where our party leader comes from.
The lawmakers challenged the deputy president to consider equal distribution of goodies to Luo Nyanza as he does in other regions.
Amealikwa, tutaki apate furugo hapa, alafu akirudi huko kwao aseme kwa Raila kupewa nafasi ya kuongea na watu. Mimi, I believe there's no way Ruto can get votes in this region because this is a region that is the ODM bedrock.
Elsewhere, Ugunja Member of Parliament Opiyo Wandayi has presented an amendment to the election law seeking to stop politicians with integrity questions from vying in the next general election.
You see the EACC, the DPP,
the DCI, the IBC itself lamenting every now and then that our hands are tied. Our hands are tied. We now want to remove those handcuffs from the IBC's hands.
Timothy Kipnoso for Prime Edition.
And Deputy President William Ruto is promising that the United Democratic Alliance's party's nominations will be free, fair and transparent. Ruto says the credibility of the nomination process is not a favor, but a right of all party members. He said it's time political aspirants had the democratic space and level field to participate in nominations in a fair manner. Ruto, who met aspirants from Narok, Kajiado and Nakuru counties at his current residence in Nairobi County, said UDA has elected to set up a party with a national face to boost national unity and help drive the national development agenda.
The way UDA has grown by the grace of God, we will make sure everybody belongs. Nobody will be more important than the other. We will have something called the level playing field. We will have free and fair, verifiable and accountable nominations.
The matter of free and fair nominations is not a favor from the party. It is a right to every member of this party. It is the irreducible minimum that any member can ask of this party, that if they have political aspirations, they must have the space, they must have the democratic right, and they must have the fairness to be able to compete in this party in a manner that everybody is equal. I know put it on record. None of these members.
Now, at least 19 cases of media bias have been filed at the Media Council of Kenya by politicians. This bringing into sharp focus how the media will navigate the tightrope of being neutral, objectivity, as well as national security ahead of the 2022 poll. This, as the Media Council of Kenya is set to roll out election reporting guidelines. Achola Simon with the details.
We will now have 3 presentations.
With about 317 days left before the next general election, various government institutions with key roles to play are already rolling out plans to ensure the polls are held in more conducive environment.
We are asking the media that even as they are reporting, that they should report putting the interest of the country first. Because at the end of the day, this country belongs to all of us. When the balloon goes up and everything goes down south, it is us who will be left with the responsibility to rebuild what we shall have caused ourselves to destroy.
One of them is the Media Council of Kenya, which is set to officially launch elections reporting guidelines in the country.
So guidelines are broadly covering, it's like a set of rules through which the media will operate. Yes, but it very easily reflects with the core values of journalism. Seek the truth, report it, be fair, be balanced, do not inflame emotions, check your facts again.
The guidelines compel media outlets to ensure journalists and media practitioners operate in a conducive environment, accord journalists and media practitioners professional autonomy, provide adequate remuneration, working tools and training on election reporting, ensure safety of journalists, media practitioners and their equipment, and provide insurance cover. Journalists and media practitioners who are injured or their equipment damaged should be compensated, amongst others.
But we also know, if we talk to any editor, we also know that the editorial space has become a highly and heavily contested space. So the question for us really is, how do we then secure the newsroom against interests, be they commercial, be they state interests, be they honor interests sometimes, because sometimes our interests and honor's interests come to clash. How do we find ways to secure the newsroom? Because
the guideline, which will be officially launched on Tuesday, also compel media houses to ensure fair coverage of contestants regardless of their political affiliation.
Ensure that all the people who are contesting at the same time also be involved to ensure that the public get fair information, the contestants, the information is balanced.
Already 19 complaints of media bias have been lodged at the Media Council by politicians.
The conduct of individual journalists on their social media spaces. If you are on TV and reading news as a balanced journalist, can you then go to Twitter and suddenly become a supporter of a specific politician?
Sometimes the media becomes a threat unto itself by failing to put in place strong in-house editorial policies to guarantee its own freedom, or the failure to implement such where they exist.
Achola Simon, Prime Edition, Kisumu County.
The drought ravaging parts of the country is fueling intercommunal conflicts. Long spells of dry weather have resulted to low water levels, forcing residents to be constantly on the move in search of the precious commodity. Our reporter Gladys Mungai shares with us the pain some of these families in areas such as Baringo and Turkana counties have to go through in search of water and pasture.
Kapedo on the Baringo-Turkana border can best be described as a ghost town. Residents have moved to other regions owing to the perennial attacks from bandits from the neighboring communities. The current drought has made the situation even worse, with over 10 people losing their lives in the recent conflicts over food and water. This despite deployment of more security officers, including National Police Reservists, and imposing of curfews.
Mani hii vita ilikuwa ng'ang'ania ng'ombe, mauaji fulani, lakini hapa kuwa na vita ya maji ama ya nyasi, hiyo ilikuwa ya kiboko zamani, lakini sasa hii imekuwa ya risasi. Na imeenda polepole mpaka sasa inasema songa hapa ni kwangu, nataka niketi, na ni mahali inajulikana wenyewe, pengine ni Waturkana watango pale. Uongo nyingi na hundua ya kusema hapa ilikuwa kwetu miaka sawa 1914, vitu ambayo haijengi, ambayo inachangia vita, sio amani.
So torturous has been the impact that even schools and learners have not been spared. Lawrence Achuka, a spokesman of the Turkana community living in Baringo, blames the scarce resources for the insecurity which dates back to the early 80s.
Na sikumbuki mara ya mwisho kupata hata kinaitwa relief kwa hiki kijiji. I can't remember. And this is the most disadvantaged village of all the villages. Sababu hakuna wakulima hapa. Hapa watu wanaenda tu vibarua. Hakuna watu wameajiriwa kazi. Ni kibarua tu. Wakati kibarua hizo hakuna, people are dying. Lakini utapata mtu ameteta kwamba pale kama Turkana sasa ndio tunapelekea hata chakula na kadhalika.
Achuka's pain is also shared by Christine Lapur, who says death threats in Kamusing, Lomelo and Kapedo has forced many to seek refuge in Baringo County.
Ukame iko kila pahali. Sisi hakuna shida na hiyo. Ile kitu shida ile tunaona kwa hapa kuua. Hata mtu kama hakuna kitu na uliwa. Hata kukuta watu kwa gari na uliwa. Hata askari ya serikali anauliwa. Ile alikuwa anaua Kamusing gari mzima alifanya nini? Ni muuaji. Hii watu ni kuua. Sisi hapana kataa hawa kukula. Hata saa hii hakuna mali iko Kapedo, hakuna mali iko Lomelo, na hawa bado naua watu.
Sasa ni kama sisi tunaimba tu kama bendera Mturkana. Akikimbia mahali serikali badala ya kutufikiria kusema hao watu wamehangaishwa huko, wamehangaika tena hapa, wafikirie mahali ambayo wanaweza kututengea tuketi.
For those with livestock, this is double torture. Cattle rustling and killing is rifle. In the middle of this conflict is a section of a community and elected leaders accused of instigating chaos. But all is not lost.
We have allowed the elders of those areas, led by our chiefs and assistant chiefs, to ensure that we have a situation where people sit down so that it doesn't cause conflict and agree on how to go. Areas of Rugus, Komolion, they agree on how to go about with their livestock so that again it doesn't cause conflict.
Na wakiingia huko hawakuichi kwa mambo ya nyasi, wanaanza tena kuipa. Hasa wakati tunapoelekea sasa wakati wa kiangazi, tutakuwa na shida. Watu wetu wamehama kwa sababu ya insecurity, kwa sababu wametoka katika manyumba zao, wamekosa mambo ya chakula.
Tungependa tusuluhishe hili jambo kusudi jamii zote za Kenya ziweze kuishi pamoja.
Na hawa vijana hawezi kuwa wanajicoordinate peke yao. Ni viongozi wanafanya haya maneno. Mtu akienda kule Nairobi anajifanya huko tu bila ni muungwana. Lakini akikuja pale anapangia watu wengine wa Kenya wenzake, anawapangia maafa, na injuries.
But as the skies turn blue and the calm returns, albeit slowly, a population of over 3,000 persons living in informal settlements for decades can only hope that drought mitigation is prioritized, even as affected persons are encouraged to seek alternative ways of earning a living. For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Well, initially I wanted to say, want to take a break for a glass of water.
Absolutely, and it's a series actually that's going on the drought situation after it was declared a national disaster. Therefore, viewers should look forward to having more of these pieces moving forward.
This is KBC.
The entire week.
This is KBC Prime Edition.
Time for us to take our first commercial break.
We'll be right back.
Usikubali kwa watu kuchafua serikali, na usikubali kwa serikali aende kando. Ikiwa kama unaona sisi tuko na kasoro, sema wasi. Hapana kaa kimya. Utasema tu kwa sauti ya wale watu wenu ambao iko katika parliament. Kwa maana ikiwa kama wewe iko kwa kiwanjani ya mpira, kama wewe unacheza, unadhani wewe ndio unajua kushinda watu wote. Siko watu wengine huko nje ambao wanasema kwa nini hapa napiga kule? Kwa nini hapa napiga kule? Kwa hivyo ukitiwaambia ati jaribu kuangalia kule na kule na kule, tena ufanye umoja, hii ndio tutasaidia.
Ili kupata sikiza tune hii ya kibeti, bonyeza *811*962#.
Umefanya vizuri sana kunifikia hii simu sasa. Nimekuwa na stress kutoka asubuhi kabisa. Na ni huyu mtu ambaye alikuwa anapatiana majina ya vitu. Kwani hakutufikiria sisi watu wa Eastern Ukambani? Ni nani alisema ati wife kwa Kiswahili ni mke? Na akasema ati handbaka. Hii inabebwa na mwanamke, handbaka. Ati kwa Kiswahili ni kibeti. Huko kwetu mke ndiye kibeti.
Ili kupata sikiza tune hiyo ya kibeti, bonyeza *811*962#. *811*962#.
You can't be serious. You're suggesting the involvement of the prince in court affairs. He's royalty.
Kenya's COVID-19 positivity rate is still on the decline and currently stands at 2.2%. This after the 54 new cases were recorded over the last 24 hours from 2,501 samples screened. From the latest cases, the total number of confirmed cases is 248,515 from 2,537,382 tests conducted. 5,109 people have lost the fight, the latest being 7 patients. The Ministry of Health also reports that 437 patients have recovered in the last 24 hours, increasing the total number of recoveries to 240,672. Globally, 231.9 million people have been infected and 4.7 million people have died. Now, moving on, Kitui County Government has secured the National Hospital Insurance Fund Supa cover for the vulnerable. residents. Approximately 85,000 households are set to benefit following a memorandum of understanding between the county government on one end and the NHIF. Governor Charity Ngilu said that the move was necessary to achieve universal health coverage. Ruth Mboya reports.
Kitui County residents will soon enjoy the Supa cover benefits of the National Hospital Insurance Fund that caters for treatment of all diseases.
The indigents who have been covered under this scheme will be able to enjoy the full benefits of Supa cover. They are based in Kitui, so the hospitals in Kitui are available to them, but should they have traveled anywhere else across the country, they have access to all our 8,000 healthcare providers spread countrywide.
This is after Governor Charity Ngilu and NHIF Chief Executive Officer Dr. Peter Kamunyo signed a memorandum of understanding
to support some of our most vulnerable households to enroll for UHC through NHIF. And this we are doing because of the suffering that we have seen that our people go through, because every single day, all of you know, in every small hotel, in every church, in every place, people are doing harambis. And the most of people also dying in their homes.
Elsewhere in KIRINYAGA County, Governor Anne Waiguru has urged the Ministry of Health to supply the county with 100,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines ahead of this year's Mashujaa Day national celebrations. Waiguru said the county needs to have vaccinated at least 30% of its adult population by October 20th.
10,000 ya kwanza leo, alafu tutaendelea hizo siku 10 tuone tutakuwa tumefikisha wapi. Kila watu wetu wote wale wako katika hii town wote wakuwa wamepata chanjo.
And Ismaili Civic, a non-governmental organization, is urging Kisumu residents to turn up for the ongoing mass vaccination exercise. The organization, in partnership with the Aga Khan Hospital in Kisumu, is conducting a vaccination drive as part of its corporate social responsibility and anniversary celebrations.
People who are not able to get their vaccines Monday to Friday because of their work commitments. So we are partnering and calling on all those that have not been vaccinated to come for vaccination.
That we are at the Aga Khan Hospital recognizing the frontliners who have been actively working to help and save lives of patients with COVID-19.
For Prime Edition, I'm Ruth Mboya.
Elsewhere, 2 people have been confirmed dead while several others injured after a road crash at Mungatsi along the Mumias-Busia highway. The morning accident involved 2 matatus, both en route to Busia town. According to reports, the 2 drivers were competing to pick passengers when one of the drivers lost control as he attempted to overtake a lorry.
This is the aftermath following a road crash at Mugatsi along Mumias-Busia highway. 2 people lost their lives and several others were injured. According to survivors, both vehicles were being driven recklessly. Traffic police in the area condemned the incident, sounding a firm warning to drivers found disobeying traffic rules.
There was a broken down lorry. The front vehicle was trying to overtake. And since they were in a rush following each other closely, as the front vehicle tried to overtake, the oncoming vehicle from behind hit the other one.
Hii barabara yetu kutoka hapa Wax kufika hapa Sidende imekuwa na ajali mingi sana. Mara kwa mara ajali inatokea hapa katikati na watu wanakufa wengi.
Elsewhere, pupils at Kadhama Primary School in Chakama, location of Malindi Sub-County, Kilifi County, have benefited from a donation of 80 desks from the Rotary Club of Malindi. William Sulubu Baya, school head teacher, lauded the club for the gesture and urged other well-wishers to assist the school improve its infrastructure.
Tumepeleka maombi yetu mbalimbali kwa sababu changamoto nyingine kama vile upungufu wa madawati, upungufu wa madarasa na mengineyo. Kwa ghafla ambao kwa kizungu tunasema ni surprise, maombi haya hawakutujibu. kwa maneno ama kwa barua, lakini siku hii ya leo ni furaha.
He told me to buy you, but I never fulfilled it.
Finally, emotions ran high as family and friends gathered for the memorial service of the late Dr. James Gakara and his 2 children in Nakuru County. During the somber service, Gakara's widow Winnie Odhiambo and surviving daughter Agnes Njeri reminisced about the good family times before tragedy struck. Nakuru County Public Health Chief Officer Dr. Daniel Wainaina said the death has dealt a big blow to the health sector.
My husband was the best partner, a good listener and a compassionate. He never wanted to see me struggle or have any problems. I got everything I would ask for.
As we stand here today to say goodbye to our colleague, that we may never know what happened on that fateful day, but we know one thing: mental health is afflicting us, and you as a community have a role to support us, have a role to walk with us this journey.
Well, that's a very sad story. It's now time to take a break and shift gears and move into the world of business.
And Cynthia Nyamai is on standby with the latest. Cynthia, it's good to see you, and of course you look lovely, by the way.
Thank you so much, Tom, and Purity, it's good to be back. And today we do
have some very good news for pensioners. Now, pension holders can utilize up to 40% of their savings in pension schemes to buy houses. However, a member who has paid pension by the scheme, or who has opted for an early retirement or attained retirement age, shall not be eligible to utilize a portion of their retirement benefits to purchase a residential house.
Under the Retirement Benefits Mortgage Loans Amendment Regulations of 2020, members of pension schemes can use up to 40% of their savings to buy a residential house.
The conundrum with affordable housing today in Nairobi is, on one side, affordable land is far from the CBD. But on the other side, the people who need access to affordable housing want it very close to the CBD.
So I hope the discussions with the banks will come to light, and I think this is probably an area you can support us, where they say we need collateral. There's air, that's not collateral. How do we ensure that we get our money back?
This comes at a time when land rates have skyrocketed, buoyed by infrastructure development and rapid urbanization that has made land ownership a proverbial Achilles heel.
Don't say you don't know. Now you know. From the end of this month, if you have pension, we want you to go and use your pension to get a house.
The law comes into effect this October and allows a member to combine benefits if they are in more than one pension scheme, and it is expected to drive uptake of houses under the Affordable Housing Program.
There is something called an affordable housing relief, and that means that you, as an employee, when you're saving with some towards your house, whatever you're saving, you're supposed to get a tax break of up to 109,000 every year.
Where employers match deductions, the amount accessible for buying a residential house is capped at 40% of the employee's accrued benefit to a maximum of 7 million shillings. Regina Manyar reporting for Prime Edition.
So if you didn't know, now you know. Thank you, Regina, for that report. Now, the online creative industry generated 2.4 billion shillings in the past year after demand for creative content rose due to COVID restrictions that saw people joining more hours since they were indoors. ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Museo says the pandemic unlocked numerous opportunities in the digital space, which is fully exploited, and reduced youth unemployment and increased household incomes.
The COVID pandemic saw the shutdown of physical social interaction, pushing creatives online as demand for content rose. Within the past year, players in the creatives industry raked in 2.4 billion shillings. ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Musheru is advising online content creators and innovators to register their products with the National Rights Registry to limit unauthorized use and reproduction of the content.
We now, through the Kenya Copyright Board, we have a national rights registry. So if you have any asset, any music that is yours, you should register that in the national rights registry. So anybody that is making any payments or trying to transfer or do anything, they will do that through the national rights registry.
The CS revealed that the government has made it easier for online content creators and artists to get their royalties, as it is now possible to directly collect money owed to them without going through third parties. He said the high internet penetration has created opportunities for the gig economy, employing 1.2 million people. The government now targets to push this number to over 15 million by the year 2030.
If these 1.2 million young people who are working every day each took just 10 and trained them per year, would actually hit our goal by 2022. And so we're pushing them to be able to get more and more people working online and being able to earn a decent.
The youth are presented with an opportunity to tap into the digital economy and be a catalyst for inclusive development.
He challenged the youth to be innovative in solving local problems, including digitizing indigenous languages to avoid extinction.
At the moment, we go to every constituency and we continue to invest until we can get to a point where at least free internet is available to everyone in those centers. And at the same time, ensure if you've invested in the internet business, then you're not going to lose and government is not competing.
Betty Kiptum, Prime Edition.
Now, 8 counties risk missing their next disbursements from the National Treasury for flouting recurrent and expenditure ceiling rules. Deputy Controller of the Budget, Stephen Mashujaa, says the devolved units exceeding the set spending on workers' emoluments is pegged at 35% of the total county budgets.
The Controller of Budget has released disbursement of 10 counties that had been barred from accessing the 29 billion shillings county allocations last month. The office says this after the devolved units submitted their budgets for approval as required by the law. However, 8 devolved units might miss out on the next disbursement for allocating over 50% of their total budget to wages and salaries.
Not more than 35% of the recurrent budget should go towards personnel emoluments.
The county government have been encouraged to rationalize their workforce to reduce the recurrent expenditure. This, coupled with a strong budgetary system and increased resource mobilization, has been earmarked to increase development budgets for the counties.
The county treasuries also have weak budgetary, a number of county treasuries also have weak budgetary control, low revenue mobilization capacity, and delay in uploading procurement plans into the integrated financial management information system, which slows the release of funds.
This, as the Controller of Budget Office has faulted the passing of supplementary budgets immediately after the main budget.
The credibility of our budgets as a country and the stability of our public financial management is frequently undermined by supplementary budgets that we have noted coming very soon. Some of these come in very soon after a budget has been approved by Parliament or the county assemblies.
County chiefs are being advised to prioritize allocation of more funds to pending bills to increase money circulation.
Tourism industry players should tailor products for the domestic traveler to help soften the impact of reduced travel by international tourists during the COVID-19 pandemic. Tourism Principal Secretary Safina Kweke says domestic tourism remains the viable option to revive the tourism industry in the wake of the pandemic that has disrupted businesses worldwide.
COVID-19 was in 2019 declared a global pandemic, disrupting many sectors, with the travel and tourism industry the most affected. In Kenya, the tourism industry has remained afloat by harnessing the power of domestic travel. Speaking in Diani, Kwale County during celebrations to mark this year's World Tourism Day, Tourism Principal Secretary Safina Kwekwe said Kenya has a huge potential for tourism revival given that domestic tourism and international arrivals are bouncing back. In Mombasa, the Kenya Coast Tourism Association initiative of training 400 beach operators has been loaded with beneficiaries, calling on authorities to license them to operate, as well as tax waivers to businesses hurting from COVID disruptions.
Tunashukuru kwamba county government sahi wameshughulika vilivyo na kuhakikisha kwamba watabichi wote wanakuwa trained, na hiyo itakuwa ni jambo nzuri kwa sababu watakuwa wanajua vile wanaweza ku-engage na tourists.
The importance of this training mostly naweza sema ni customer care. Tulifundishwa about customer care because we used to do it randomly, but now after getting the training, at least now we have order so that we don't scare the guests.
Now, Mombasa being a huge tourist hub brings together thousands of tourists ever so often every month, and we look at it that they shouldn't just stay in the hotels. They need to get out. They need to get a feel of the city, because tourism is not just hotel. We also need to know what's the heritage. What do we have in Mombasa?
In Kiambu, the devolved unit has identified 87 tourist attraction sites, including Kenya's founding president, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta's home in Githunguri, where he served as the head teacher, that will be aggressively marketed in efforts to diversify revenue for the county.
Tumefikiria kuhifadhi ndiposa historia ya Wakikuyu na Wakenya kwa jumla isipotelee tu hivyo. Sisi husafiri kuenda mbali kusoma mambo mengine, lakini saa zingine tunasahau nyumbani.
World Tourism Day has been commemorated today with stakeholders calling for formation of policies that will streamline and boost the tourism sector. For Prime Edition from Mombasa County, I'm Michael Mondiga.
Now, 38.8 million cyber threats were flagged between April and June this year as cyber criminals increased targets on Kenyans online. The Communications Authority of Kenya attributed the 37.3% quarter-on-quarter increase in cyber threats to targeted attacks at Internet of Things devices, as well as to the rise in impersonation, online fraud and online abuse cases arising from increased internet access.
COVID disruptions fueled an increase in the uptake of internet solutions that further saw an upsurge in cyber threat exposure. According to the latest Communication Authority of Kenya statistics, 38.8 million cyber threats events were flagged by the National Kenya Computer Incident Response Team, which is an increase of 37.3% during the first 3 months of this year. This increase is attributed to the rise in impersonation, online fraud and online abuse cases arising from increased internet access. In response to the detected cyber threat attempts, the government issued 25,969 advisories and received 529 digital investigation requests. In hindsight, the total number of active internet subscriptions increased by 12% quarter-on-quarter to 46.7 million. However, mobile data subscriptions constituted over 99% of total data subscriptions, with the highest number of data subscriptions being on data speeds between 2 Mbps and 10, whereas data speeds equal or greater to than 100 Mbps recorded the least number of subscriptions. At the same time, the value of mobile money transfers from business to business declined by 3.7% to 1.7 trillion shillings, while customer to business declined by 7.6% to 998 billion shillings during the period under review, as businesses continued to suffer from the weight of COVID-19 disruptions. However, person-to-person mobile money transfers increased in value to 1 trillion shillings, buoyed by increased cashless transfer strategies. The Communications Authority of Kenya is optimistic the sector will continue to register significant growth in digital transformation as a byproduct of the uptake and use of emerging technologies in government, education, health and agricultural sectors, among others. Regina Manyara reporting for Prime Edition.
Now to corporate news, where Absa Bank Kenya PLC has kicked off a digital literacy enhancement program targeting to establish 66 computer labs in schools across the country. The lender is investing 23 million shillings in the national-wide project that will see 1,500 computers donated to different schools in the coming months. Here are the details of this and other stories in our corporate briefs.
Absa Bank Kenya PLC and Computer for Schools Kenya rolled out the initiative at the Kikuyu Township Primary School by donating 20 desktop computers that are fully networked and fitted with relevant software to support learning. The donation was accompanied by desks and tables refurbished from the waste collected during the bank's rebranding exercise completed last year.
We are donating computers and also planting trees. So this is part of our sustainability and citizenship agenda. We have been working with different stakeholders and different partners who have come on board. For example, the Computer for Schools Kenya, who really have driven this agenda within the schools for very many years.
Meanwhile, KenGen has kicked off the construction of a research and development center at Tana Power Station in Murang'a County in a diversification strategy. The construction of the research and development center, which will also double up as an archive for the company, is expected to take 18 months to complete.
It will be for immortalizing all our records and our work. And for sustainability, it will live beyond our generation. Ideas will be conceived that will change our business, that will change the energy sector, and even the country, the region, and the world.
Finally, Equity Group has disbursed 1.65 billion shillings to 71,000 farmers under its farm input subsidy aimed at supporting smallholder farmers to increase productivity and profitability. Equity Group CEO James Mwangi says loans under the program are tied to wallets that can only be redeemed at the 364 pre-qualified agro-dealer outlets. He says the loans are also insured to protect farmers from losses they may incur due to poor harvest due to unforeseen occurrences like drought, flooding, or pest infestations.
Well, that's it from the business desk. I see Nana Karani asking more about the pension holders. Remember, you can use up to 40% of your pension to buy a house. For more of those details, you can check out our website. That's KBC Channel 1 or any of our digital spaces. Now, sports is coming up shortly with Karen Kibet.
Jamaica wanna get him from who needs some sote. Party, it's going on. It's gonna burn all night. One love is action. One love is an action.
Kwani umetokea wapi? Na mila zenu nzipi?
Kulisha didani. Keti ndo huyo hata yuko
Tipili, namwona dadako.
Dadangu? Kawaida huwa sijiregelei maneno yangu, lakini with you nahisi kama ambaye nahitaji kukumbusha, just in case.
I'm not hiding, I'm listening to some of my music.
Okay, peke yako na mamako yuko hapa?
She only became the Emperor's mother
through trickery, and her terms nicer than father's. Don't bother yourself with that. I will arrange Prince Chung's marriage.
Your Majesty, issues of marriage are the duty of the harem.
You're funny.
What is wrong with you? Why didn't you tell me that earlier?
Getting into trouble again.
I didn't do anything.
Don't think you're fooling me.
Fighting with your family again? All right, everything will be just fine.
不相见那一人那一面，也不愿你我错过的流年。无一念。
Welcome back. I do hope your evening is treating you well. It's now time for us to take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. My name is Karen Kibet. Now, the National Rugby Sevens team completed the 2021 HSBC World Rugby Sevens series in style, beating hosts Canada 33-14 to win bronze at the last leg of the series in Edmonton. The team, coached by Innocent Simiyu, was relegated to the bronze playoff after losing to South Africa 33-7 in the main cup semi-finals. They finished second overall with 36 points after winning silver at the Vancouver Sevens. South Africa was crowned the 2021 HSBC World Rugby Sevens Series champions after beating Great Britain 24-12 in the main cup final. Only 7 of the men's core teams took part in the Canadian event, with New Zealand, Fiji, Australia, Argentina, Japan, France and Samoa among those missing due to the pandemic-related travel restrictions.
Have that donut on the screen. But they're going to look to get on the board here. In midfield, ranging up. OU, Nelson OU! Oh, he's a special player! Nelson OU is turning out to be one of the greats for Kenya.
Major League Soccer club CF Montreal midfielder and Harambee Stars captain Victor Wanyama has retired from international football. Wanyama became the first ever Kenyan player to score in the UEFA Champions League when he scored the first goal in Celtic's 2-1 win over Barcelona on 7th November 2012. He has earned 60 caps for the Kenyan national team since making his international debut in May 2007 at the age of 15. Football Kenya Federation Deputy Chairperson Doris Petra has today launched a 10-day CAF D coaching course at the Dr. Kraft Primary School in Maringo, Nairobi. The course has attracted 40 participants, among them former Harambee Stars midfielder Eric Ochieng.
Football Kenya Federation Deputy Chairperson Doris Petra said the federation has been able to train over 4,500 coaches in CAF D and 500 coaches in CAF C, with an additional 25 coaches going through the CAF B diploma.
The number of ladies is one thing. And you know, as FKF, we can only tell the girls to come and train, but you cannot get them from their homes because you don't know them. But you have to show interest that you want to train. And those who have gotten in touch with us wanting to train, we've always directed to centers where they can get these trainings.
We're having good coaches, and I think this is one of the things which the federations have seen, going to the mashinani, because I think on the grassroots level, I think that is where the problem is. Mashinani is where football is being played, but again with the coaches who are dealing with the young kids, they need to be educated, they need to know what they are doing, so that at least they can implement it to the kids who are coming.
The course is also geared towards challenging former players to seize the opportunity offered to them and attend the coaching courses. The grassroots coaches are under the tutelage of FKF FIFA instructors George Mwangi and Leonard Sale.
Na wale bado kuna wazoefu bado wale wanacheza, naweza wa-urge wajitokeze, wasi-lost wajitokeze, wakam kwa hizi ma grassroots coaching courses, ndio at least waweze go back huko chini, waweze kufundisha hao vijana wadogo na mademu wadogo, waweze kulearn, because sisi ndio role models wa vijana.
Frederick Muki for Prime Edition.
Thank you, Moki, for that report. Moving on, 22 golfers will battle for a share of the 2 million shillings prize pass at the opening leg of the 4th season of the Safari Tour. And in Machakos elsewhere, David Mwangangi was on Saturday crowned the winner of the inaugural Konza Teen Golf Series.
Home player Mohit Medirata carded a round of 5 under par 67 to lead the surviving group of 22 into the 3rd and 4th rounds in the first leg of the 2021-2022 season of the Safari Tour Golf Series at the par 72 Sigona Golf Club course. Medirata goes into the 3rd round with a 4-shot lead from Kenya Railway Golf Club's Alfred Nandwa, who shot 1 under par 71 for a 2 rounds total of 3 under par 141.
Just work hard and play golf. I mean, this is what we love. We love to compete. It's so good to have competition back again. So just looking forward to it.
We have improved compared to last season, but I would say, or I will request or urge the sponsors to try and help more and make it bigger.
Zimbabwean Tafara Mpofu and Thika's Simon Gige are joined 3rd on 1 under par 143. Among the big names not to make out are David Waku, Nigerian Andrew Odo and Rizwan Charania. Elsewhere, Machakos Golf Club's David Mwangangi was on Saturday crowned the winner of the inaugural Conva Invest Teen Golf Series after he topped the leaderboard of his home club leg of the series. The handicap 14 golfer cut an impressive round of 42 points to claim the top spot, 1 point ahead of his nearest challenger, handicap 4 Jackson Nzioki, who ended the round with a haul of 41 points to claim the member runners-up position.
We are going to mount a series of golf tournaments in the country, so that we can go around preaching that to our people, that there are opportunities out at Konza.
The tournament took place against the backdrop of the recent unveiling of the Konza Technopolis second strategic plan for the years 2021 to 2025, which seeks to accelerate the impact of the Technopolis. 109 players took to the par 72 Machakos Golf Club course. For Prime Edition, I am Daniel Wahome.
Thank you, Wahome, for that detailed report. Now, finally, Jeffrey is back in contention for Crystal Palace tonight in an English Premier League match against Brighton. This is after recovering from a thigh problem, but Eberechi Eze and Nathan Ferguson remain sidelined. Odsone Edward, who scored twice as a substitute in Palace's last home game, awaits his first start for the club. Brighton will continue to monitor midfielders Yves Bissouma and Alexis McAllister, who are nursing respective knee and back issues.
Mistake from Morpay, his 3rd of the season. And then it goes, Welbeck's there, Welbeck into the corner, and Albion. Neatly done. Tielemans across, great delivery, great.
It's the first real shot of the match. He'd be stronger there, Harry Kane, personally. To work out.
Absolutely correct, yeah. Both.
And that's all we had for you right here at the KBC Sports Desk. Let's do this all over again tomorrow, same time, same place. From me, Karen Kibet, do have yourself a lovely night. But I do hand you back to Tom and Purity.
Thank you so much, Karen. And of course, as Karen has said, we'll see you again tomorrow, same place, same time. And Wangeshi has been our sign language interpreter tonight. I'm Purity Museo. Keep watching KBC.
And I'm Mboya. Good night. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Beauty College.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call on 0725 923 550 Nairobi branch, 0728 087 689 Eldoret branch, 0722 227428 Thika branch, 0725 000 706 Meru branch. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, a TVET approved institution.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii ya heshima, bonyeza *811 *817 hash.
Ukiwa mtu wa heshima, utaheshimiwa. Ukiwa mtu wa kupeana, nawe utapewa. Ukiwa wewe ni wa kudharau wengine, utadharauliwa. Ukiwa wa chuki, malipo ni yale yale. Ikiwa wewe ni mtu wa haramu, vile vile itakupata tu. Na kama wewe ni mtu wa kushauri kwa hekima, hautawahi kosa. Kama wewe ni mtu wa watu.
Ili kupata skiza tune hiyo ya heshima, kama skiza tune yako, bonyeza *811 *817 hash, *811
I think that the codes that I'm looking for are inside the safe. Press charges against him and have the police arrest him.
No.
Letter isn't yours, Loreto. It belongs to Eduardo.
I know. And he'll pay me more than you.
Just give me the combination. Unless, of course, you don't trust me enough.
I think that you dropped this when you broke into the Santos ranch to kill Victoriano. I see that you two know each other. Oh.
She only became the Emperor's mother through trickery, and her tomb's nicer than father's. Don't bother yourself with that. I will arrange Prince Chung's marriage.
Your Majesty, issues of marriage are the duty of the harem.
You're funny.
What is wrong with you? Why didn't you tell me that earlier?
Getting into trouble again.
I didn't do anything.
Don't think you're fooling me.
Fighting with your family again? Alright, everything will be just fine.
Good people of the 254 and beyond, how was your weekend? I believe you had a good one. Now today I am bringing you the show right from the heart